Hare Krishna, Gauranga. So just a few thoughts that popped into my head today. A little bit of a short story. So there's one book that I read to my kid. It's called The Tickly Octopus. Basically, what happens is there's a octopus who uses its 8 tentacles to tickle all the fish in the ocean. And most of the fish, they like it, so they find it really quite funny. But then a few fish like the crab and the starfish and a few others, they don't like it, so they tell him to go away. So he feels quite bad about this, and then he thinks, well, what else am I going to do? I'm a tickly octopus. That's what I do. That's my thing. So one day he comes up on a sleeping oyster with the shell, the clam shell, and he tickles the oyster, and the oyster gets such a shock that it drops the precious pearl, which falls and bounces all the way down into the ocean floor. So our tickly octopus, he apologizes so profusely, and he goes whooshing off super fast down into the bottom of the ocean. Now, on swimming really fast, he discovers that he could actually go that fast. He says, wow, I didn't know that I could go so quick, that I could swim so fast. And then when he gets to the bottom of the ocean, he says, I didn't realize that I could go so deep, because now he's in the depths of the ocean. It's all pitch black, and there's all those unusual looking fish and different species down there. And then the pearl falls into one of the cracks in the ocean floor, and he squeezes himself down into the hole. And then he says, oh my God, I didn't realize that I could be so squidgy. So then, upon squeezing himself down into the further into the depths of the ocean floor, he comes across the pearl, but next to the pearl is a big massive eel. Now, of course, the eel's a really, really dangerous predator. And the eel attacks the octopus, who grabs the pearl and swims away super fast with the eel chasing him. And then the octopus lets out his jet of ink and completely blackens all the ocean and covers the eel. The eel can't see, and then obviously falls back into the depths. And then the octopus discovers, oh my God, I didn't realize that I could be so inky. And of course he returns the pearl back to the oyster, and then, happy days, that's the story over. But the moral, of course, is quite clear, that there's so many things about us that we don't realize. He was just going around, and he was known for being the tickly octopus, and he believed himself to have that persona. That was his only one trick pony. And we have this saying sometimes that there's more to them than meets the eye. But with spiritual life, it's more than just skin deep in that sense. We could be the highest material success, but materially speaking, everything ultimately fails. So high failure, low failure, if the only basis is material. But spiritually, there's no concept of high or low, in the ultimate sense, because spiritually speaking, we're all equal to Krishna in the way that he wants us to come back. Yes, we can be spiritually more advanced. That's one thing, but realistically speaking, we're in the beginning stages. We're all equal in the eyes of Krishna, and we're all equal in spiritual standing because we're trying to go back to Godhead. We're making spiritual endeavor. So even the smallest bit of spirituality is the success. Material high or low, it's ultimately a failure because it's temporary, But even again, if we use the material sense as the starting point, there's so many things we don't know that we can do because we've never tried it. We have so many skills that are probably waiting to be used that we've never done them just simply because no one's ever asked us, or we're shy, or maybe these things happen in a different climate or in a different country or in a different culture, or maybe we're not very outgoing or whatever it is, But maybe if we tried it, we would like it. Like foods, some people can eat any food, some people can only eat the same food, Some people can do all sports, some people can't do any, But there is definitely something that they have from a material point of view that they can give to the world. A lot of people are into this idea of what can we give to the world. So everybody can give something. There is no one out there that's useless in that sense. They can provide something, whether it's a knowledge thing, or it's a physical thing, it's a monetary value, or something they can input into the world. So spiritual life is even more so like that. There is absolutely something that we can do for Krishna. Now we're very fortunate that we don't have to use our intelligence, because Srila Prabhupada, and there's a quote saying that he had to, he had to constantly keep racking his brain to come up with stuff for the devotees to do, So he provided lots and lots of wonderful services. So you can kind of see these as our core foundation: book distribution, Harinam Sankirtan, dairy worship, prasadam distribution, classes and seminars, Namhat programs, festivals. These are things that can keep a devotee engaged unlimitedly for their whole lifetime. Just to use book distribution as an example, book distribution is not just standing on the street. Book distribution is going door to door. Book distribution can be businesses. Book distribution can be now due to COVID pandemic, it can be online, selling the books and sending them, pallets of books out, orders and special orders and stuff. It can be just going around your friends, going around your people at work, And of course, dairy worship is the whole Pancharatrika Vidhi system is so deep. It can be yagyas, it can be weddings, it can be dairy worship, it can be dressing, it can be, the morning wake up puja, whatever it is, And again, cooking is another field that can be just absolutely endlessly deep, So these skills that sometimes we're not aware of, we can tap into simply by just having a go and trying them out. But there's one verse in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, that says, Nehape kramo nasusti, pratyuvaya nivedite, swapam apashya dharmasha, trayate mahatobaya. That in this endeavour there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the greatest type of fear. So we could just have to just make a step in the spiritual direction, and it's a success. Just one step. So look to learn new skills, look to wake up our inherent consciousness, especially because in spiritual life we have an eternal consciousness, an eternal being, which is what's called our Swarup Siddhi. That's the higher platform, is that in our eternal birthplace in the spiritual world, we have a form waiting for us that will have certain duties that form will perform. But even here, materially, due to our conditioning that we've been carrying and building up over millions and millions of births, we have certain skills and abilities, some that we may not even be aware of. So it's something to think about. There's definitely more to us than meets the eye, because it's not just our looks or our abilities, it's the fact that we are spiritual beings, and we can use so many different ways to link up to Krishna. Gauranga Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo.